Hello students, in this video we will be seeing question number 8, page number 52, NCERT book, not for profit organization. Following is the receipts and payments account of Indian Sports Club. Prepare income and expenditure account balance sheet as on December 31st, 2015. Now you have to see here it is written 2015, but below it is written 2017. So the current year is actually 2017, not 2015. Change it. Current year is 2017. Okay. Now let us see. So we have to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. That is the closing balance sheet. Current year's balance sheet, 2017's balance sheet. We have to prepare. Now balance. Let me just first take you through the question. You have balance brought down. Subscription, okay, life membership fee, entrance fee, tournament fund, locker rent, sale of old sports equipment costing 2200, sold for 2500. So it is sold for a profit of 300 rupees. Old newspaper sold, legacy. Then on the payment side you have salary, electrical charges, billiards table, office expense, printing and stationery, tournament expense. Now you can see you have tournament fund here and tournament expense here. Keep that in mind. This is something new in this sum. Repair of ground, furniture purchased, sports equipment, cash in hand, cash at bank, and then you have fixed deposit. They have taken fixed deposit also as a closing balance. Okay. Now, other information. Subscription outstanding was, it is as, subscription outstanding as on December 31st, 2016 is 1200. So previous year subscription outstanding is 1200 and 3200 on December 31st, 2017. Current year's subscription outstanding is 3200. Locker rent outstanding for current year 2017 is 250. Salary outstanding on December 31st to 2017 current year is 1000. On Jan 1st, 2017, the club had building rupees 36,000, furniture rupees 12,000, sports equipment 17,500. Depreciation charged on these items at 10%, including purchases. Okay, children? So, nowhere they have mentioned capital fund. So, in order to find out capital fund, we have to prepare opening balance sheet also. Now, you can go step by step. First, you can prepare income and expenditure account. Then you can prepare opening balance sheet. And then you can prepare closing balance sheet. When I say opening balance sheet, it is previous year's balance sheet. Balance sheet for the year ended as at December 31st, 2016. So, 2016 balance sheet is opening balance sheet. And balance sheet as at December 31st, 2017 is closing balance sheet. Okay. Now, a better way of doing the sum is open all the three items. First, open income and expenditure account, leave around 15 to 20 lines. Then open opening balance sheet, leave around 5 lines. Then open closing balance sheet. Prepare the format. This is more easier and quicker method, because in this method you will not, the chances of you missing out any amount is less. So you will be able to, you will be able to record all the items from the question in the solution. Okay. Now I will be just guiding you how to solve the sum. You have to solve the sum. This balance brought down 7890 will come in the asset side of opening balance sheet 2016. Then subscription. Take subscription 52,000 to the income side of income and expenditure account, inner column. With this subscription 52,000, we have to add current year's outstanding 3,200 minus previous year's outstanding 1,200. Okay. Now, immediately in balance sheet where these amounts have to be written, we will do that also, so that we can put a tick mark for subscription and it's over. Now this previous year's outstanding will appear in previous year's balance sheet, that is 2016's balance sheet asset side. 3,200 will appear in the current year's balance sheet, 2017's balance sheet asset side. You have to write subscription outstanding. Okay, done. Now we can put a tick mark for subscription, that is over. Next, life membership fee. It is a capital item, I have already explained it to you. So it will be added with the capital fund in the liability side of the balance sheet. You can either add it with the capital fund in the liability side of the balance sheet, or you can show it separately also. Capital fund will be shown separately and life membership fee will be shown separately in the liability side of the balance sheet. Which balance sheet? 2017 balance sheet, current year's balance sheet. Okay. Entrance fee. Entrance fee is a revenue item as per your CBSE syllabus. So it will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Tournament fund. Tournament fund is a kind of special receipt, specific receipt. Okay, you have to follow that rule. In my previous video, I have explained it. So tournament fund will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet. Any income relating to tournament fund will be added with this fund in the liability side of the balance sheet, and any expenses relating to tournament fund will be subtracted from tournament fund in the balance sheet. That is the rule. However, if the expense is more than the tournament fund will become zero in the liability side of the balance sheet, and the excess of expenditure, only the difference amount, will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Now when I say balance sheet, it is the closing balance sheet. Balance sheet as at 2017. So this tournament fund will appear in the liability side of current year's balance sheet, 2017 balance sheet. Inner column, liability side, you write 26,000. Now there is no income related to tournament fund. However, we are having an expense here. Tournament expense is 18,500. So write 26,000 in the inner column in the current year's balance sheet minus 18,500. The balancing amount will appear in the outer column of the balance sheet. Okay. 7,500. Okay. So this is over. You can put a tick mark. Put a tick mark here. See, whatever is over, no, put a tick mark, so that even in your board exam you can follow the same habit and no item will be left behind. So put a tick mark here, up to tournament fund. Put a tick mark here in the tournament fund. Put a tick mark in the adjustment for subscription. These things are over. Then locker rent. Locker rent is an income. So income side of income and expenditure account. Okay. Now you have sale of old sports equipment costing 2,200, sold for 2,500. So 2,500 minus 2,200, 300 is profit on sale of old sports equipment. This 300 will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Sale of old newspaper, income. Legacy, since it is not specified, okay, for which purpose, the purpose of the legacy is not specified, so we will follow the rule of CBSE. This legacy will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. I think I made a mistake. Okay students, now if you take legacy as a revenue item in the income side of income and expenditure account, this is the correct method, but you will not get the book answer. It's okay. We have to follow the CBSE method. So legacy 37,500. Since nothing is mentioned about legacy also here in the adjustment, sometimes it will be mentioned legacy is to be capitalized, but here it is not mentioned, so it's okay. You may not get the book answer, it's okay. we are doing the sum in the correct method, legacy will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account as it is general in nature. Okay. So you can put a tick mark. Now coming to the expenditure. So see, you have locker rent outstanding, isn't it? So this locker rent outstanding 250 should be added with this locker rent. So locker rent we will show in the income side of income and expenditure account, inner column, plus current year outstanding 250. The total amount is 1500, outer column. 1250 plus 250, 1500. Okay. Then you have salary outstanding. So salary expenditure side, inner column 11,000 plus current year outstanding 1,000, outer column 12,000. Electric charges, it's an expenditure, so expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Billiards table is an asset, so it will appear in the asset side of current year's balance sheet. Students here get confused, madam, how will we know whether it will appear in previous year's balance sheet or current year's balance sheet, opening balance sheet or closing balance sheet? Children, opening balance sheet is prepared as on 31st December 2016. This is receipts and payment account for 2017. So definitely if a billiards table is purchased in the year 2017, it will appear in 2017's balance sheet, not in 2016's balance sheet. There is only one amount which will appear in 2016's balance sheet, that is this opening, cash in hand and cash at bank. Okay. Now, so billiards table, asset side of current balance sheet, that is closing balance sheet. Office expense and printing and stationery, expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Tournament expense I have already explained. It will be subtracted from tournament fund in the liability side of current year's balance sheet. Repair of ground, it is a recurring expense, expenditure side. Furniture purchased is an asset. Sports equipment is an asset. These things will be added with the opening balance, and we have to subtract this sales, and then we have to find depreciation. In my previous video I have explained how to calculate this. You can prepare a similar working note. Okay. Cash in hand and cash at bank will appear in the current year's balance sheet, that's the closing balance sheet, asset side. Fixed deposit 30,000 will appear in the closing balance sheet, 2017 balance sheet, asset side. However, we have to calculate interest. Now nothing is mentioned about interest, which means interest is accrued. We have to receive, we did not receive. Okay. So the accounts are closed on December. So from October to December we have to calculate interest. 30,000 into 10 by 100 into October, November, December, 3 by 12. 3 ones are, 3 fours are, 4 sevens are, 28, 29, 32 remainder, 4 fives are 20. Okay. So 750. 750 is interest accrued. We have to receive, but we did not receive. This 750 will appear as accrued interest in the income side of income and expenditure account. It will also appear in the asset side of current year's balance sheet. You can either show it separately or you can add it with fixed deposit and show it. That is, in the current year's balance sheet it can be shown as a separate item, or you can write fixed deposit inner column 30,000, add accrued interest 750, outer column 30,750. Clear? Now last left is depreciation. So these are the opening balances. So this 1200 will appear in the opening balance sheet. 3200 closing balance sheet. Both will appear in the asset side. Locker rent is an income accrued. So income accrued will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Okay. Salary outstanding is an expense outstanding. So closing balance sheet liability side it will appear. Okay. Now building 36,000, furniture 12,000 and sports equipment 17,500 will appear in the opening balance sheet. Now we have written all the items of opening balance sheet. You can tally the opening balance sheet. The balancing figure is capital fund. Okay, you will get this book answer 74,590. You will get this answer. Okay. Then have we purchased any building for the current year? Have we purchased any building? No. Have we sold any building? No. So on building we have to calculate depreciation 10%, 3,600. 3,600 will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Now in the closing balance sheet asset side we have to write 36,000 building 36,000 inner column minus depreciation 3,600, 36,000, 35, 34, 33, 32,400. So 32,400 will appear in the external column. Okay, done with building. Now coming to furniture. Furniture opening balance is 12,000. It will appear in opening balance sheet, that I have already told you. Is there any closing, any furniture purchased? Yes, we do have furniture purchased. 7,700. We have to add this. So 12,000 plus 7,700. Do we have any furniture sold? No. So 12,000 plus 7,700, 19,700. From 19,700, we have to calculate depreciation of 10%. Okay. So that comes to 1,970. Now this 1,970 will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Now in the closing balance sheet, you have to write furniture in the inner column 12,000 plus purchases 7,700, total 19,700 minus depreciation 1,970. The balancing figure will appear in the outer column of balance sheet. I am talking about closing balance sheet. Okay, that is current year's balance sheet. So furniture is over. Next we have sports equipment 17,500. Let us again check whether we have purchased any sports equipment. You have to check, children. You have to check for each and everything. Each time I check, this billiards table is, my eyes get stuck with billiards table. So billiards table is an asset. It will appear in current year's balance sheet. Why my eyes are getting stuck there? Because my brain is asking whether we have to calculate depreciation on billiards table also. Actually, as an accountant, I would like to say yes. But as a teacher, this question is not asking you to calculate depreciation on billiards table. So no. Okay. So your eyes should be able to make out what is current asset, what is a fixed asset, and where it will appear and all. Now, I was talking about sports equipment opening balance 17,500 plus. So this 17,500 will come in the opening balance sheet. Opening balance sheet is over. So 17,500 plus sports equipment purchased 12,000 minus sports equipment sold. Always take the cost price 2,200. So what is it coming up to? 17,500 plus 12,000. So 17, 27, 28, 29. 29,500. 29,500 minus 2,200. 29, 28, 27. 27,300. Okay, so 27,300 is the closing balance before depreciation. On 27,300 we have to put 10% depreciation. It comes to 2730. This 2730 will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account, depreciation on sports equipment. In the current year's balance sheet, asset side, you have to show sports equipment 17,500 plus purchases 12,000 minus sales 22,000, total 27,300 minus depreciation 2,730. The net figure will appear in the outer column. Okay. Now you will not get the book answer, but your balance sheet will tally. Why you will not get the book answer? Because of this legacy. We have assumed legacy to be a revenue receipt as per the latest syllabus of CBSE. Okay. Question number 9, NCERT page 53. Okay. From the following receipts and payment account of Jan Kalyan Club, in the books of Jan Kalyan Club, okay, prepare income and expenditure account. So you have to write income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st March 2017. And we should also prepare balance sheet. Now capital fund may not be given, so you have to prepare opening balance sheet as well as closing balance sheet. Opening balance sheet, children, one thing I forgot to tell you. In question number 8, I told you where all the items will come, isn't it? But I didn't tell you the last total balancing figure. Income and expenditure account, whatever you get, whether you get a surplus or you get a deficit, most probably I feel you will get a deficit, not a surplus. You will get a deficit, okay? This deficit should be subtracted from capital fund. Now, how will you get capital fund? You prepared the opening balance sheet, 2016's balance sheet. The balancing figure you got, that balancing figure is capital fund. That will be transferred to the liability side of closing balance sheet, current year's balance sheet. What was the amount? I even mentioned the amount, 74,590. So 74,590, the balancing figure of opening balance sheet is capital fund. This will be transferred to the liability side of closing balance sheet, 2017's balance sheet. With that capital fund, you have to subtract the deficit amount. Okay? And write the net amount in the outer column. Now your closing balance sheet should tally. Now question number 9, also we have to do the same thing. So you can open all the 3 accounts. Open income and expenditure account, leave around 10 lines. You can see the number of items here. Leave around 10 to 15 lines. Then open opening balance sheet, that is balance sheet as at 31st March 2016. That is the opening balance sheet. And leave around 5 lines. Then you open closing balance sheet, that is balance sheet as at 31st March 2017. Okay. So that as and when I am explaining, the items can be incorporated, placed in the respective areas. I hope this is visible, children. You have cash in hand as on 1/4/2016, 6,800. This will appear in the opening balance sheet asset side. Then you have subscription, 60,200. Immediately you have to look down in the adjustment. You have subscription received in advance, opening balance, subscription received in advance, closing balance, subscription outstanding, opening balance, subscription outstanding, closing balance. Or you can say previous year, current year. Now I have already explained this in one of my previous videos. The treatment, I gave you a unique formula also. You have to incorporate that formula. This can be shown as a working note separately, or this can be shown as a part of your income and expenditure account. Both the methods are correct. So I prefer showing it in income and expenditure account. So subscription 60,200 will be shown in the inner column of income and expenditure account, income side. With this 60,200, subscription received in advance of previous year actually belongs to current year. So we have to add previous year's advance 1,000. Then we have to subtract current year's advance 3,200 because it belongs to the next year. Then we assume that previous year's outstanding is included in this. That is our assumption. So minus previous year's outstanding subscription and plus current year's outstanding subscription, because as per accrual system, even though we have not received, it is current year's income. So I repeat this: plus 1,000 minus 3,200 minus 2,000 plus 3,700. Okay. The final amount will appear in the external column of income side of income and expenditure account. Now, where will these items appear in the balance sheet? Previous year's subscription received in advance will appear in the opening balance sheet, liability side. Similarly, current year's subscription received in advance will appear in the closing balance sheet, liability side. Previous year's subscription outstanding will appear in the opening balance sheet, asset side. Similarly, current year's outstanding subscription will appear in current year's balance sheet, that is closing balance sheet, asset side. Okay. Now you have to pause the video, children. You have to pause the video and write the account. Then again start. Listen, pause, write. Once you have prepared the account, try to understand what you have written. If you have doubts, get back to me. So subscription is over. Now coming to donation. Now donation, nothing is mentioned, so it is a general donation. So general donation, I have already explained the items, special items treatment. It will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Sale of furniture, book value 6,000, sold for 4,000. So there is loss on sale of furniture. This loss on sale of furniture will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Entrance fee, it is revenue item, so it will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Life membership fee will be transferred to balance sheet, current year's balance sheet. You can either add it with capital fund or you can show it separately. Interest on investment, 5,000 will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Now here within brackets it is mentioned 5% for full year. So immediately you should see whether any investment is mentioned here. No, it is not mentioned. Whether any investment is mentioned here. No, it is not mentioned. But we have received 5% for the full year. So we have to calculate what is the investment. Okay, it is the reverse calculation. So if for, let investment be X. X into 5 by 100 is equal to 5,000. Then what is X? X is equal to 5,000 into 100 divided by 5. 5 ones are. So it comes to 1 lakh. 1,000 into 100. Investment is 1 lakh. Okay. Now where will this investment appear? It will appear in both the balance sheets asset side. In opening balance sheet as well as closing balance sheet. That is previous year's balance sheet as at 2016, 31st March 2016, and current year's balance sheet as at 31st March 2017. Investment will appear for rupees 1 lakhs. Okay. Now I am just going through the adjustment to see if there is any income adjustment which I have left out. No, nothing is left. It's over. Now I can go to expense. 24,000 salary will appear in expenditure side. Is there any salary outstanding, children? No, there is no salary outstanding. So directly you can write 24,000 in the expense side. Similarly, Traveling expenses 6,000 expense. Stationery. Now stationery 2,300 is here. If nothing is mentioned, this will appear in expenditure. But give attention, this is something new in this sum. Stock of stationery is here. Can you see stock of stationery? Now in my previous video, accounting treatment for special items, I have explained what you have to do for stock of stationery. It is like cost of goods sold. Opening stock of stationery 1,200 plus purchases 2,300 minus closing stock of stationery 800 will give you stock of stationery consumed. So 1,200. This calculation you have to show. Either you can show it separately as a working note, or you have to show in the expenditure side inner column. You have to write opening stock of stationery 1,200 plus stationery purchased 2,300. What does it come to? 2 plus 1 3 and 3 plus 2 5. 3,500. 3,500 minus 800. Did I say 3,800? So that comes to 2,700. I'll just check if I'm saying it correctly, children. We are discussing question number 9, isn't it? Stock of stationery, yes, 2,700. So this 2,700 will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. You have to write the heading cost of stationery or stock of stationery consumed. Okay, done. Now where will these two items appear? 1,200 will appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet and 800 will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Done. This is new. See, each sum has something new. Question number 8 had a fund accounting. We had tournament fund. Question number 9 has stock of stationery consumed. Done. Now rent. Rent is 16,000. I saw the adjustment 2 to 3 times in between because now I know we have rent outstanding. So with this 16,000, see children, rent outstanding we have 2 years figures. So in my initial classes videos, I had shown this to you. Wait, I'll see if it's available. Yes, it's available. See, with expenditure, add current year's outstanding less previous year's outstanding. Add previous year's prepaid less current year's prepaid. You have to incorporate this formula. Okay. So, where is the expenditure? Rent. On the expenditure side, inner column show 16,000 minus previous year's outstanding 1,000 plus current year's outstanding 2,000. Okay. This will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Now this 1,000 will appear, since it is an expense outstanding, it will appear in the liability side of opening balance sheet. And 2,000 will appear in the liability side of closing balance sheet. That is current year's balance sheet. So this is over. Next, repair expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Now you have books purchased and building purchased. These are assets. So they will not come in income and expenditure account. Now, if you see here, you have books opening balance as well as closing balance. Okay. Then you have furniture opening balance as well as closing balance. So what can we take as the balancing figure? The balancing figure is actually depreciation. Because if closing balance is not given, we have to calculate closing balance. But in this question, closing balance is given. So the balancing figure is depreciation. Now I'll tell you how to arrive at it. First we will see building. Okay. Building, there is only building purchase. There is no building sold and we don't have building opening balance. So building purchase will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. 30,000. Done. Over. Coming to books. Books purchased is 6,000. So what you have to do? You have to prepare books account. Books account. Okay. Either you prepare an account format or you can prepare a statement format, whichever is easy. Opening balance will come here and closing balance will come here. What is opening balance? Book 13,500. So 13,500 will come here on the debit side and 16,500 will come here on the credit side. Okay. Now we have book purchased 6,000. It will come here as bank, or you can write cash. 6,000. This 6,000 book purchased will also come in the debit side. Okay. So now the balancing figure is depreciation. It will appear here. Depreciation. Now you may say, madam, the balancing figure can also be sales now. If it is sales, children, it would have been reflected in receipts and payment account. But it is not reflected. Sales means we would have received cash or bank. It is not appearing. So it is depreciation. So 13,500 plus 6,000. 19,500 minus 16,500. 3,000 is depreciation on books, and this 3,000 will appear in the expenditure side. 13,500 will appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet, and 16,500 will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Okay, done. Now, so books are over. The only item left is furniture. Now we have to see if we are having any furniture purchased. No, we don't have furniture purchased, but we have furniture sold. So the same thing we have to do. The same account we have to prepare. Furniture. Furniture account. The opening balance 16,000 will come here. Debit side, because it's an asset. Asset will have opening balance in debit. And 8,000 will come here. 8,000 closing balance. This is brought down. This is carried down. Done. Now you have an asset whose book value is 6,000 is sold for 4,000. So what we have to write? Sales. We will write here bank, or you can write cash. Sold for 4,000. You have to show 4,000. Then depreciation is not mentioned in this question, isn't it? We have to write loss. Loss on sale of asset. This is similar to your asset account, which you have studied last year in the depreciation chapter. Loss on sale of asset 2,000. Now 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Credit side total is 14,000 and debit side total is 16,000. So we have depreciation on books also. Okay. So depreciation on books is the balancing figure. Okay, children. Now anywhere if you are not able to understand, you can call me and get your doubts cleared. Eight, 9, 10, 14. So if I have mentioned books, I am sorry, it is depreciation on furniture. So depreciation on furniture is 2,000. That is the balancing figure. So depreciation 16,000 minus 8, 9, 10, 14,000. 2,000 is depreciation on furniture. This depreciation on furniture will appear in the expenditure side. This opening balance will appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet, and this 8,000 will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Okay, done. Now last item left is did I mention about outstanding rent, children? So with 16,000 we have to add 1,000 and we have to subtract 1,000, we have to add 2,000. This will appear in the opening balance sheet liability side and this will appear in the closing balance sheet liability side. Expense outside means liability, income outstanding means asset. Now this cash in hand is closing balance, so closing balance sheet asset side. Done. Now find if it is surplus or deficit. It will be surplus. Now balance the opening balance sheet. The balancing figure on the liability side is capital fund. Take this capital fund to the closing balance sheet. With this capital fund, if it is surplus, add the surplus. If it is a deficit, minus the deficit. Now total your closing balance sheet, it should tally. Okay. Question number 10. In the books of Shankar Sports Club. Okay. Let us first see the adjustments. We have to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. So you have to prepare opening balance sheet, closing balance sheet and income and expenditure account. You have subscription outstanding. Then you have opening stock of postage stamp. This is same like cost of materials, cost of stationery consumed. You have to calculate cost of postage stamp consumed. Same way, previous time we had stock of stationery, isn't it? See, like that. Then we have rent and we have a furniture. Opening and closing balance is given, which means balancing figure will be depreciation. Then you have a loan. Okay, the interest on loan is given. Opening cash balance, asset side of opening balance sheet. Entrance fee, income. Donation for building becomes a specific donation, so liability side. Okay, of liability side of closing balance sheet. Locker rent. Do we have locker rent here in the adjustment? No, we just have rent. We don't have locker rent. So locker rent is an income. Life membership fee, liability side of current balance sheet. Profit from entertainment, income. Subscription, 40,000 inner column. Subscription, what is the current year? 2017. Okay. Subscription outstanding on March 31st, 2016 is 1,200 minus previous year's outstanding. 2,300 on 31st March 2017 plus current year's outstanding. So minus 1,200 plus 2,300. Subscription is over. Now previous year's subscription outstanding will appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet. Current year's subscription outstanding will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Subscription is over. Now coming to expenses, you have rent 18,000. Now we have already seen in the adjustment, we have rent related adjustment. Rent 1,500 related to 2015 and 1,500 is still unpaid. So basically it makes no difference, but you have to show it. Okay, so how to show about 18,000 plus current year's outstanding 1,500 minus previous year's outstanding 1,500. You have to show it like this in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. So 18,000 plus 1,500 minus 1,500 is 18,000. But you have to show full disclosure concept. Now this rent outstanding is an expense outstanding. So both in opening balance sheet as well as closing balance sheet, it will appear in the liability side. Next, wages. We don't have any wages here. So wages will appear in expense. Then billiards table is an asset. Closing balance sheet, asset side. Furniture, it's an asset. Do we have any furniture sold? No. But we have furniture purchased 10,000. And we have opening and closing balances of furniture also. So you can prepare furniture account the way you prepared book account and furniture account of previous sum. Opening balance sheet will come in the debit side. Opening balance will come in the debit side. Closing balance will come in the credit side. Purchases 10,000 will appear in the debit side. Balancing figure is depreciation on furniture. This balancing figure will be shown in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Opening balance of furniture will appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet. Closing balance of furniture will appear in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Furniture is over. Next, coming to interest. Here you have interest in the payment side, and we have already seen in the adjustment you have loan, isn't it? So if you calculate interest on 20,000, if you calculate 10% interest, it is 2,000. So it is this loan's interest which we have paid. Okay, why did I do this calculation? There is no outstanding interest left to confirm that. So this interest will appear in the expenditure side. This interest of rupees 2,000 will appear in the expenditure side. This loan of 20,000 will appear in the current year's balance sheet, because it is mentioned as on 31st March 2017. 2016 is not given. So the loan was taken in the current year, not in the previous year. So it will appear in the liability side of current year's balance sheet. Only 20,000. Interest is not outstanding because it is appearing in the payment side. It is already paid by way of cash or bank. Coming to postage, you have to do opening stock of postage stamps. What is opening stock of postage stamp? 300 plus purchases 1,000 minus closing stock of postage stamp 200. The net amount is cost of postage stamps consumed. This will appear in the expenditure side. 300 will appear in the opening balance sheet asset side, and 200 will appear in the closing balance sheet asset side. So postage is over. Salary. Do we have any salary outstanding in this sum? No, we don't have salary outstanding. So salary will appear in the expenditure side. Cash in hand will appear in the closing balance sheet asset side. So it's a simple sum. 3 sums for this video. Question number 8, 9 and 10. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning. The quest for knowledge, the quest for excellence within you should not die. Don't take things for granted, children. Get serious.